I am the host, Richard Ravenbrook, a man, a life coach, and a spiritual mentor who has endeavored to find real spiritual truth and self-enlightenment. With experiences in various ministry types, pagan traditions, and even magical paths. With a love for Mother Earth and the balance of life, I work to channel spirit and to help educate and mentor those striving to deconstruct from mainstream religion and to empower them to find the divinity within themselves and to the truth around them. The messages are focused on everyday life, creating an environment of real coexistence, a world of mutual respect, love, and dignity. The pagan preacher is all things, the preacher and the pagan, speaking from the wisdom of spirit. Hello everybody, this is Richard Ravenbrook. Welcome back to the Ravensbrook Sanctuary. As normal, let us focus first. Let us take that deep breath in, breathing in the good, visualizing the good, and breathing out the bad. Visualizing all the negativity and chaos, all the things that have happened to us throughout the week, our emotions, how we feel. Push those out with that breath and breathe in the peace that is here. We want to be open-minded, open-hearted, and ready to receive the message that Spirit has for us today. We want to be ready to receive that which is meant for us. Today's message is about the gifts. The gifts that so many of us on planet Earth have. So many gifts that many people, many religions out there that would want to tell you that they are evil and that they should never be used, that they should never be addressed. But I tell you now, not to believe these people. Do not believe that you must suffer on this earth to learn to be a good person, to learn the truth about spirit, the universe, and the hidden mysteries. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. And all of us have specific gifts that we can use when we need to use them. It's a matter of learning how to use them. So many people want to use terms and labels and definitions and describe those things as evil. Such words as psychic or prophet. Some people want to claim that there's a difference, but the difference is only in perception. Like the term Christian witch, it's in the perception. Some would say that it's impossible to be a Christian witch because the words contradict each other, the labels or the definitions of each. But they do not. It depends on your perception of what a Christian is. Depends on your perception of what a witch is. But those labels and those definitions have been tarnished by history and by evil men that wanted nothing less than total control over this world. They replaced spirit with religion, doctrine, and dogma. They told people that the gifts that Spirit offered them and gave them, empowered them with, were evil, and they should push those things aside, not to use those gifts, because those gifts were of the devil. My friends, no gift is evil. Whether you believe in the devil or not, do not ever think that the gifts are evil. Evil is manifested from within us. It's what we do with the gifts that make them good or evil. The gift itself is neither. It's just like magic. Magic is neither white nor black, nor good nor evil. It's neither. It's neutral. It simply is. It's the individual that makes good or evil. Just like in other podcasts where I've said that evil has no power unless we manifest it. Evil is nothing but a notion within our mind to do something or to commit an act. And if all we did was denied it, think of the world that we could have. Some would say, those gifts, you're a psychic. Those gifts you cannot use because, well, you're not serving our God with that gift. But where do we come up with these judgments? Where do we come up with these labels? How do we know that an individual is not following after a specific God just because they label themselves as a psychic or a medium or whatever that label might be, or witch? In talking about the gifts, it goes more into these labels and these definitions and these descriptions that we make so many judgments out there based upon how we have learned a specific subject or how we were taught to define a word. So many of the churches out there want to claim that the term psychic is evil, but the word psychic is never in Scripture at all. And how you define it, how you label it, depends upon your culture and where you come from and who taught you and who taught them. Until we can get past just taking what someone else says for truth without diving into things and actually researching things for ourselves, we will never be an enlightened people. Enlightenment comes from seeking, searching, hunting for the truth. You know, as I've said before, the truth is like a scattered jigsaw puzzle, scattered all over the world, throughout all the different religions and theologies and practices. And when we become open-minded enough and open-hearted enough to understand that we don't have all the answers, and when we begin to go looking for those answers, and we're ready to receive those answers willingly, we begin to see the truth in all of these different practices and traditions and cultures. That's why it's so important for cultures to not close their practices, not to close their teachings. Because when you do so, you take an element, a piece of that puzzle, and you remove it. You take something that was freely given to you and deny others based upon culture, skin color, race. I do not believe that any god nor goddess or any creator or wherever these things come from would ever approve of denying someone a piece of that truth based only upon the idea of their culture and their color. But it should be based upon their character and their heart. Do they come openly and willingly with an open, pure heart. What does that mean? That just means somebody that is honestly seeking, honestly just wanting the truth, not necessarily for just arrogance but what they want it for is fulfillment, understanding, truth. We all know there's more out there than what we see. Some of us seek that truth more than others. Some of us live for finding that truth. Others just live. And there's an element of peace with that. But I think the ones that search and want this so much, we are the teachers. We are the spiritual leaders, those that help give direction, help give place to good and what is best for our world and what is best for the people in general. Because we can learn from the past and we can apply that to the future. We know the truth for what it is, not from what someone told us that it was or what it is. We learn, we adapt, we absorb truth from what Spirit confirms within ourselves what is truth. Have you ever gotten to that? You heard a message, or you heard maybe even just a song on the radio or something, and it confirmed, it hit you inside that it was just like you, that it was almost meant for you. That's what I'm talking about. That's what happens when Spirit confirms a message. When it's like, I hear you and I feel what you're saying. That I am too searching for that truth. I've been in the church for many, many years, or maybe you've been a practicing witch for many, many years in a certain coven. Maybe you have been in a different religion. And maybe you've been there for years, but you've never been fulfilled in some aspect of your spirituality. You understand how to manifest. You understand many of the spiritual things in life, but there's just something missing. But if we dive deep into matters, many people, that hear my podcast know that sometimes I quote scripture. Why do I do that? Because I don't truly consider myself what the church would claim as the corporate Christian. It's because I know more about Jesus than the church does, or should I say what the church teaches. Let me give an example. Jesus lived on this planet for 33 years. Scripture only talks about 3 of those years. How many churches in the United States teach what Jesus did during that other 30 years? I don't think you'll find a single one. Is it because they don't know? Oh, they know. Our history books tell us. Different books tell us. Different theologies or different religions that knew of Jesus tell us. They tell us how he studied many different cultures, how he studied many different practices, that the true Jesus that lived on this earth is not as the normal corporate Christian church would describe. Some would describe the real Jesus as a magi, a type of sorcerer, so to speak. Some would even say, and I have heard it, that Jesus was a witch. But mind you, these are labels that can be perceived many different ways. And when you hear these words, you have to understand that when we talk about gifts, when we talk about these spiritual gifts, like being able to hear spirit, being able to know things that other people don't know, or to discover things that people don't discover. Even wisdom can be a great gift when it's inspired by spirit, because it's not the flesh that is making that judgment, that assumption, that ruling, but it's spirit. It is something much, much deeper than flesh, than emotion. Gifts are never evil. Yes, we have people that choose to use gifts as evil. They choose to use things for their own self-vanity, perhaps to get rich, to be popular. And that's not saying that you cannot use your gifts to make a living for yourself, because there's nothing wrong with wanting a roof over your head and food in your stomach, and still being able to do the things that you were put on this earth to do. It's when you take that overboard and you become vain in your gifts, and you begin to take advantage of people and hurt people, and stop caring about the real reason why you do what you do. That's when it becomes bad. But gifts are never bad. We label things, and our parents, we've been taught, whether it be in school, our parents and our grandparents, and by the way they learned and what things are. We're taught that the word witch, what comes to your mind, most people, when you say the word witch? Some ugly, old, green woman with a pointy black hat and a pointy black nose that does evil things. Why? Because that's what Hollywood, that's what the church wanted people to see. They wanted to tarnish that name in the past. They wanted to remove that gift, because witch really just means wise woman, a woman of the wise. In today's society, it can be man or woman. But what it meant was somebody that knew some of the hidden mysteries. They knew how to heal using herbs. They knew spirit and spiritual things. They knew things in a deeper aspect than many of the church leaders ever could even fathom. And this scared them. So they tarnished that name. They tarnished that word. And then anybody that wanted to even use that word was already pointed out as being an evil or a bad person. And it's just a word. Words do not make someone evil. Actions make someone evil. Gifts, again, are never evil. When you leave here today or stop listening to this podcast on your radio or wherever you may be, if you take anything out of this message, understand just that you have a gift, whether you realize it or not. Whether you be an intuitive, whether you be a psychic, whether you be a medium, whether you be just someone that has an extraordinary wisdom or knowledge of certain things, don't be afraid to use it. Don't feel that comes from any source other than spirit. You were created with that gift. And it is not bad, it is not evil, it is not corrupt, and it will not corrupt you, and it will not corrupt society. But you have that gift to heal society. You have that gift to better society. You want to know why the world the way it is, or why the world is the way it is? Because 80% of the people don't even know who they are. They don't know their gifts. They've never exercised their gifts. Most of the time because we're told not to, that we're told they're wrong, or we're told to ignore them, or we're called crazy, or you're insane if you believe that you can do that. Those things are just nuts. Those things are crazy. And I'm here to tell you, no, they're not crazy. Those are the persecutions that so many have talked about. It's not just going to church or whatever else and they persecute you for doing that. It's those that are persecuted for using things like the gifts, like Jesus did when he healed the sick, turned water into wine, and raised Lazarus from the dead. Those are the things that you can do every single day. And you say, those things are crazy, you can't do that. And that's just why you can't. Because doubt is the opposite of faith. It's the opposite of belief. No matter what religion you are, what form of paganism you are. Because all paganism is a tradition that was here before the mass conversion of Christianity. Paganism isn't evil. It never has been evil. It was merely the religion before. Most pagan traditions have a god and a goddess. When I say God, I mean spirit. I'm talking about spirit within us. And it's many different religions, whether it be Christianity or even Egyptian, where it talks about the kingdom of heaven is within us. Within us. When we look for that truth, when we want that truth, that confirmation of truth, where do we find it? Do we find it in a four-wall building? No. We find it within us, in that quiet time, in that space where nobody else can interfere, where nobody else, no matter where you are, whether you be in your home, in your car, or locked up in a prison cell, you have access to every spiritual, all wisdom, all power, all knowledge. You have it already within you. If you just tap into it. It's educating people on how to tap into it, how to let go of these things of the world, and how to let go of all the years of indoctrination and learning false narratives, false stories, false history, and understanding the truth for what it is. You know, I try not to down any religion because I still believe that most all religions have an element of truth. And there's good and there's bad in all religions. But what I know for a fact is unless you seek, you search, you hunt yourself for that truth, you will only ever find a portion of everything that you could have had upon your plate. It's not greedy, it's not arrogant to want all this truth. Within you is the spirit of divinity. It already knows. Remember, we're spirits on a physical experience. But when we're born, I think we don't understand, or we don't understand who we are. And we're not taught. We're not taught anything other than a few of us. We're taught a different story. We're taught a different theology. We're taught to suppress that which we are. We're taught to just be workers, mice on the wheel, turning those wheels to make money for the corporate elite. The more important, the more wealthy. And nobody's more important. We're all equal. All of us are equal. From the man sweeping the floor with the broom, to the doctor that saves the heart patient, the brain surgeon, the lawyer. We all serve different purposes. The pagan clergy, the regular clergy, those that perform weddings, we're all the same. The psychic, the prophet, the medium, and yes, even the Christian witch. Because there's elements of those things. Like I said, it depends on your perception. The Christian witch. Basically the same thing as Jesus. That magi, that sorcerer, that astronomer, the one that understood the stars and the planets and the alignment, all these different things, but you don't learn that unless you dive outside of the four walls of normal theology. Search, seek, and you will find. It's not in a four-walled building. It's within you. Inside you. That's why we start these services every time with that deep breath. Trying to let go of the physical. Trying to let go of these emotions that sometimes can have us on a roller coaster of torment and chaos. Confused. Not understanding what to do or what move to make next, because these emotions have us twisted and turning, and we just don't know what's going on. The Spirit never changes. The peace, the calmness, the answers are there. You say, how do I find out what it is that I need to do? Where do I find the answer? Go find your quiet space. Even if you don't find it the first time, find that quiet space. Practice your breathing. Just search within yourself. Let the visions flow through your mind. Breathe in the good. Breathe out the bad. Understand that which you feel, that which you hear is real. Believe it. Use it. Follow it. Yes, we make mistakes. Because sometimes as we learn to hear Spirit, sometimes we'll confuse our own voice, our own heart with Spirit. But trust me, it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long at all to learn how to discern what is spirit and what is flesh. Maybe we'll do a podcast on that, on just how to do that. But you will learn, and you will learn fast. But the point of the matter is, the truth is within you. The gifts are within you. Use them before you lose them. Use them to help people, guide people, teach people. Lift people up. Teach them the truth. Teach them that they are divine within themselves. And may we all just be true to ourselves. As I end this service today, just remember, no gift is bad. No gift is bad. Look within yourself for the truth. Listen to that faint voice within you. Understand it. Discern it. And don't be afraid to believe in it. To take the courage to step forward and to walk in it. Be blessed, everybody. And blessed be. Thank you, everyone. This is Richard Ravenbrook. From my heart to yours, I hope you are blessed. Please be a blessing. Share these podcasts. Share my short videos. Tell the world the work that's being done. Help me open the minds of those so closed. Help me bring into the fold those seeking truth and enlightenment. Be blessed.